Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first show of the year 2021 of the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. We apologize for being away for at least a good month. I have not been feeling good whatsoever. I found out I had type 2 diabetes, also had a diabetic neuropathy, and we didn't find out what was going to work with that. And I literally, on certain days, just felt I understood when someone said, well, they're not in pain any longer because it was that bad. So please excuse me, but I'm back. I've lost about 40 pounds. I am ready to hit my A1C.
Yay.
I know I have hit my A1C. So welcome, Joe. Happy New Year. I apologize about the delay, and thanks for understanding.
Hey, man, no problem. I thought you were busy being a good elf, so there you go.
And also, Joe Carney has his own podcast. It's called Indy's Local Flavor. Just type it in the search bar. You're going to find it on Google Play. You'll find it on iTunes. You'll find it, just type in Indy's Local Flavor. You'll find it. So, but head on over and check out Joe's podcast. So, okay. So, Joe,
Yes,
what has been happening? What can you see coming back in 2021? We want to talk a little bit about college football, maybe some of the playoff indications with the NFL before we get to our show.
I was talking in general. What I would like to come back in 2021. Number three for me would be local basketball courts. They took the rims down here in Indianapolis and most places because of the virus. They didn't want anybody or the youth of Indianapolis playing, 3-on-3 or whatever. So I would like to have that come back this year. Number two, I'm a movie guy. I'd love to see a movie in the theater. I'm not necessarily a popcorn person, but I like my dots. So I'd love to see a
I like
movie
my
in the
milk
theater.
duds, so I understand what you're saying.
And man, I was super disappointed, but it's the virus. What you gonna do? Live concerts. Coldplay would have came here this year for the big 50 birthday, and that all got flushed. So I would love to see live music again. Online live music was a decent workaround, but yeah, I want to see live music again and go and enjoy that experience.
I don't know if the movie theaters are going to make it back, though, man. I hope they do. I hope,
Yeah,
because, if you actually think about it, 2021.
yeah,
2021, but it is 2021. Get
yeah,
yes, yes,
yes.
yes. All those things, being able to go out to eat and being able to, go out to eat and enjoy it without having to, are you sitting that far away from me? I don't know if this is all going to come back though, man. Are you on a positive side with that happening this year?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I've been dining in the whole time, and everybody's been really smart about it and really careful. And um, I was really sad to see Burger Study go. St. Elmo's burger joint that folded, and McGivens downtown folded, but they're merging with Slapfish. So that's a good thing. But the thing that's concerning me, I'm a local guy. I like to give back to the community. The thing that's concerning me is the mom and pop places are getting hammered, hammered. So if you're not comfortable dining in, and I get all that, I get that argument. If you're not comfortable dining in, get takeout and support your local businesses. So especially the restaurants, because Yin Chin closed. My favorite Asian place, which is right by, they've been there for 40 years and they closed. And I'm like, a lot of Asian places, the buffet style Asian places are closing here in Indy. So please go support your local restaurants and your local mom and pop stores, because if you don't support them, they're not going to be here. It's really that simple.
Well, I'm actually glad that the Indiana Hoosiers are going to play in the Outback Bowl tomorrow because
Yeah.
I'd rather them play in the bowl before the Outback goes out of business.
It'd be way out back by the outhouse.
By the way, I think that was a disaster, them not getting one of the top bowls.
Oh, I agree. I man, don't even get me started on the BCS, man. That's like all day for me.
Yeah, just take out the C and you've got what it really stands for.
Bravo,
But
Samuel.
but Tom Allen is getting all of his kudos with Coach of the
Yeah.
Year honors and stuff like that. What a fantastic year that they've had, and hopefully they'll beat Ole Miss, right? Is it who they're playing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ole Miss 12:30 ABC. So
yeah. Well,
it's not a cable game. Everybody can see it, so that's a great thing.
oh, it's on national TV,
ABC.
ABC. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else has been happening since we've been on our layoff, Joe?
Man, I am super thankful. Super thankful. The Indies Local Flavor hit 1,000 listens for the year. So since February, and that was great. And 2 weeks ago, we hit the record for listens for a week, which is 158, which was great. So I wanted to take this time to talk about a couple people that passed recently. Dawn Wells of the Gilligan's Island passed of COVID, she was 82. And then Ecstasy of Houdini died last week. And then Doom, who was only 49, they announced that he died yesterday, but he really died on Halloween. So, I mean, it's just been person after person after person this year. So, yeah, that's another way another thing I want to get away from. So hopefully with the vaccination, that'll put that in the rearview mirror, hopefully.
Hopefully, and let's cross our fingers. You can also listen to my show at keepingthenostalgialive.podbean.com. You can also go to YouTube and type in the Keeping the Nostalgia Alive show, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find me and Joe's show on YouTube at the Keeping the Nostalgia Alive. Also, please go to the Billy and Joe Top 10 show on Facebook and subscribe. We'll have this video up there, and that's what you probably listen to it off, and we'll have the link to YouTube. I'm a little rusty, man. I'm a little rusty.
That's okay.
For the past 3 months, it's been just pain, and just I'm a little rusty, so forgive us, guys. So our topic of the day, are we ready for our topic of the day?
Do you want to do over the sports rundown first?
Yes, let's do that. And also, please let everybody know, will the Colts make the playoffs?
I'm going to go over that. First, I told you I got a little gift for you, and where I got it from, it's called The Shop. It's theshopindy.com. Guys, if you like throwback nostalgia stuff, this is for you. They have 2 locations, one in Broad Ripple, one in Clay Terrace.
Where was the first one at, Joe?
Broad Ripple.
I just wanted to hear you say that again.
Broad Ripple. And when you walk in the store, you're amazed. And they have, let's see, they have every university represented. So you could buy T-shirts and my sister, she's an IU grad, and her birthday's coming up. So happy birthday back. Her birthday's coming up, and I bought her an throwback Indiana University hat. And I tried to look this up on Google, and I couldn't find it. The hat was a blue trucker's hat, and it had the throwback Indiana Bowl on it. So I don't know when that mascot changed, and I don't know if that was the mascot for the 76 team. But, I mean, that was a really cool hat, so I got that for my sister. But, I mean, like, I got this there. They had a bunch of Ball State stuff. They had a bunch of Purdue, Notre Dame, IU, Indiana State. But the crazy thing is They had shirts, Market Square Arena, Deer Creek. They had Burger Chef T-shirts and drinking glasses. They had Hooks drugstore T-shirts. I mean, they had Indy 11, the soccer team shirts. They had for men and women, and it was amazing. So if you're interested in all of that, and the prices are a little high, but the thing is, you're not going to find this stuff anywhere. You're not going to find a Burger Chef shirt anywhere. It's the shopindy.com, SHOPINDY.com. So check them out. The sports report. Go ahead.
In that same category, check out 199.com.
Okay.
They have some pretty good stuff on there also. The shopindy.com, I've been there. I've put stuff in my cart. I've waited for I've even put my email in. I've waited for a good coupon or a good deal besides free shipping. But free shipping is nice.
Sure.
But 199.com, they have some pretty good stuff in there too. Retro basketball shorts, retro T-shirts. And the nice thing about losing all this weight is normally when you go to a sale thing, you click on it, all they have is small or medium.
Right, sure. Right.
Well,
that's not me.
I get to wear the medium now.
Oh, and I showed this to you already, but this is what I got you.
That is beautiful. Indiana State University Sycamores. Nice. What's the back of it look like, Joe?
The trucker's hat.
Very nice. Very nice. And believe it or not, in losing the 40 pounds, I've also lost a half a shoe size.
What?
And over a half a hat size.
Wow.
Crazy.
I have a large cranium, so it's hard to fit my head in there. So I understand.
I had a small, medium Virginia hat that I got, which you can see behind me, guys. And I bought it just to aggravate a Texas Tech fan. Because, Virginia will come down in history as the longest reigning national champion.
Right.
So, and it was small, medium. I thought I got a medium large or a large extra large. So I'm like, I put it on. I'm like, oh my gosh! I told my wife, I said, oh my gosh, I lost half a hat size. You should be happy about all this stuff. I couldn't be though, because I was in pain until they figured out what kind of medication to get me on, which is non-opioid, which is fabulous, by the way. So not non-addictive and stuff like that for my diabetic neuropathy. So okay, go ahead with the sports report. Sorry, I had slapped that 199.com in there.
Outstanding. The quick news is the Pacers beat the Cavs yesterday. They looked very strong. Everybody played well. I think they lost their leading scorer, TJ. I'm drawing a blank on the last name. I think they lost TJ. He had a fracture, I want to say, in his leg, I guess. Billy, did you see the fight yesterday in college football?
No.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Mississippi State and Tulane. I want to say after the game. It's on ESPN or YouTube or whatever. Both, and this was the U.S. military ball, right? And the veterans were there at the beginning. I don't know if they're at the end. The veterans were there in the beginning. Both benches clear. Full fisticuffs, both sides. And I want to say it's on the Tulane side. And this Tulane player, number 7, hits this Mississippi State. Tulane's in white, Mississippi State's in maroon. This Tulane guy hits this Mississippi State player, falls down. The Mississippi State player falls down. He runs over, stomps on him, and runs away. Everybody's in full football gear, except for 2 players, and then I want to say this number 7 goes up to Tulane goes up to this Mississippi State player and clocks him right in the face. Bang, the guy goes down, and then it was mayhem or pandemonium. You pick the noun. It was beyond ridiculous.
It
So,
sounds like something that would happen from the SEC and from the state of Louisiana, so I'm not surprised. Man,
yeah, it was ludicrous.
yeah.
So, yeah.
If I'm president of the United States and they say we got to get rid of 5 states, Louisiana is one of the first ones.
And I talked to my brother this afternoon, and I agree with him totally. The NCAA should suspend their football programs for a year.
Oh, I agree with that.
That was totally unacceptable. So anyway,
but do they really have football programs?
I'd suspend the scholarship. Right. I suspend scholarships, the whole program done for a year.
Interesting.
But, what you going to do? Okay. The NCAA football news. I'm kind of biased. Ball State, baby. First bowl win against San Jose State.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. The announcers before the game was and San Jose State was number 22 in the country. And my thing was, I looked at their schedule and I'm like, they're in the Mountain West. Okay. They played San Diego State and Boise State, and that's it. Ball State lit them up the first quarter, and the first half they scored a ton, but the second half, San Jose State made a little run on them, but the defense won the day for Ball State. So, yay, Cardinal.
Chirp, chirp.
And I went on David Letterman's social media, and he's done nothing. And I'm like, who's running his media page, man? Come on. So anyway, Auburn versus Northwestern is on right now. Northwestern, last time I checked, was leading, but that's been a little while. Notre Dame and Alabama is on in the half hour, 4 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Tonight's big game is, you heard about Ohio State, right?
The controversy about how many games they played and blah, blah, blah. Blah blah. You get the draft. Yep. It's all about money. It's all about money, bro.
Of course it is. That's why I can't. Yeah.
All about money.
That's my BCS soapbox. Ohio State and Clemson at 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Earlier in the week, Wisconsin beat Wake Forest. Iowa.
We did learn from that game never to give them a trophy.
Oops! Don't put butter on the trophy, pal. Iowa and Missouri was canceled, and we talked about this earlier. The big game is Ole Miss versus Indiana at 12:30 on tomorrow, Saturday on ABC. Can't wait for that.
And how many games did Ole Miss win?
I haven't dug in on that. I could not tell you.
All right. What a crazy bowl season. Indiana University and the whole football program got the shaft.
Yeah, that's why I don't like the BCS. Personally, my personal opinion, football should be exactly like basketball 2014 playoff. Never happened, though. Anyway.
All about the Benjamins.
Yes, sir. You brought your top 10 Big Ten players, right?
I actually brought my top 20.
Oops, I did 11.
Okay, that's fine with me, bro. Because I can hit it right into. I can start at number 11, so I'm perfectly fine.
Okay.
Did you have? Was that a bonus pick? Okay. First of all, are the Colts going to make the playoffs?
That's next. Okay, the games that are going to be on television locally. Steelers at the Broncos at 1 on CBS. Cowboys at the Giants at 1 on Fox. Packers Bears at 4 on Fox, and they moved the Colts game. Jaguars at Colts at 4 on CBS. Colts are favored by 14. What do you think of that, Billy?
I've seen them lose.
Colts win this game. They don't win by 14.
Okay, Colts win. They're in.
No, they have to have help. So here's the playoff scenario. Colts have to win, of course. The easiest road, Colts win and the Titans lose to the Texans, which is...
That ain't going to happen.
Right. So if the Titans win, the Dolphins need to lose, or the Ravens need to lose, or the Browns need to lose. So the second easiest scenario, in my opinion, Steelers are playing the Browns, and I think if the Browns lose, which I think the Steelers are going to play well, then that helps the Colts tremendously. But right now, it's Colts win and they need help.
Colts should lose and just pack it up for the season because it may be just one playoff game and done. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen if they make the playoff? But you could be, it could be one and done. That's definitely a possibility. I hope not, but And and then we'll go over the whole football schedule since the last weekend of football. And I did most of the ones with playoff scenarios. Dolphins at the Bills, Ravens at the Bengals, Falcons at the Bucks, Raiders at the Broncos, and I got a comment on the Raiders. I have to comment on the Raiders for a moment. There's no way the Raiders defense, I've been saying all year, is dreadful. They've been giving up average per year 30 points per game. You're going to lose 9 out of 10 games doing that. So there's no way they're going to fire John Gruden. He signed a 10-year deal. And I like John Gruden. I think he's a good coach. However, general manager, in my opinion, Mike Mayock needs to go. So they fired their defensive coordinator after the Jets game, and they need to fire their general manager, Mike Mayock. He needs to go. Anyway, Chargers at the Chiefs, Seahawks at the Niners, Saints at the Panthers, and the Titans at the Texans. And there is no late game since it's the last weekend of the year.
Just pack the football season up. Let's look for 2021.
I want to see the playoffs.
Playoffs?
So.
Playoffs?
Okay, Jim Moore. I didn't know we had him on the show.
Yes. So, anything else you want to add before we get started?
Let's see. What's your favorite local restaurant that you go to for?
Here in Houston, it's called Pappy's.
We've talked about that.
You've also found it. I've also found out that during COVID, the restaurants that really care.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they really care and will take care of the customer, knowing what's going on, and those that survive COVID will just flourish once COVID is kind of in the grasp of a vaccine or is fading off or whatever the media is going to tell us is going on with it. But those that will survive COVID will be fantastic and be great post COVID.
I totally agree with that. I've really got a couple, but the Steer Inn.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a family diner style.
Mm-hmm.
Guy Fieri loves that place.
Yeah,
it's pretty much any food you could think of, really, except so they don't have Mexican and Asian. But if you like all American diner food, it's great. And I'm a big fan of Giacomo's. But the other thing that happened with me personally is me and my buddy Jeff from Ball State. We placed 6th in the state for the trivia tournament this year, so that was fun. So that was fun. And I'm diabetic brother with you, so I got to take daily injections now, and I'm on metformin. So, and I lost a lot of weight really quick, and that does a number on you as well. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people. Okay. A lot of people do want to do the diet thing for 2021 and exercise thing for 2021. And that's never worked for me. So if you're thinking about doing a diet thing, I want to reframe that and say, because I was diabetic and was forced to change my eating habits, I would say, if you're thinking about doing a diet thing, don't phrase it that way, because if you're doing a diet, you're going to fail on it. So my thing that works for me is, granted, I need to exercise more. So the thing that works for me and how I reframed it was, I did a lifestyle change to eat smarter. And you have to really look at what you want to fuel your body. And if you're doing that with high fructose corn syrup, and you're doing monster drinks, energy drinks, and you're a high what's the word? Carbonated beverage consumer, that's a recipe for diabetes. And our kids are like major diabetic prone. So that's my soapbox for diabetes for the day.
Man, I think just stop drinking soda would have dropped my A1C, where I wouldn't have to take metformin, because I used to pack them away 3, 4, 5, a day. So, yeah. So with that being said, let's go to our top 10, plus evidently a bonus, Joe bonus. And we're going to go the top 10 Big Ten men's basketball players. So let's go ahead and kind of see where you're kind of jumping off at a number 11, and then I'll follow you on picks.
I did the Google Assist on this, and it was crazy. It was crazy. You can find so much sports research on Google, it'll blow your mind. But there was one website that did this poll. It was a top 25, and there's a couple sports websites that I don't like, and that was one of them. But anyway, having said that, here's my list.
Coming in at number 11,
Steve Alford.
Oh, man. Great choice. Great representative for the university. Mr. Basketball, Olympic gold medal, NCAA championship. He almost makes it just on that level.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're talking about Big Ten. We're not talking about pro careers. The man could flat out play basketball.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. Now, I'm going to have a little bit of fun with mine. And you said that's your number 11, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'm going to have a little fun with mine, because I brought visual aids today. Oops. That's Dan Dockage. Let me put that back. Someone I wanted on this list.
Where did you get those cards?
Well, let's get paid first before we tell everybody where we got those cards.
Fair enough.
Okay. Now, there's someone I wanted on this list badly, because he's a great person, a great ball player, represented Indiana University, just fantastic, is A.J. Guyton.
Okay. Yeah, he's a good guy. No doubt.
I wanted on that list, but didn't make that list. I got a couple visual aids here, but coming in probably at number 11 would be Magic Johnson. College man.
That's because you're a bird man.
College man.
That's your bird man.
Played 2 years.
That's 'cause you're a bird guy.
Played 2 years and left.
Yeah, I got him on my list.
You've heard, haven't you?
What's that?
Bird? Bird is a word?
The trash man, right, of course.
Yeah.
Everybody's heard about the bird.
There's your violin for you.
My number 10 is Mr. Timeout, Chris Webber.
Oh man. Okay. Now, people at home are going, is this going to be an Indiana University top 10 Big
For
10
you, yes,
players of all time?
always.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I have Isaiah Thomas at number 10.
Number 10?
At the Ace of Diamonds, Isaiah Thomas at number 10. Well, you threw me off, bro. I had 20 going on, man. 20 would have been fantastic, but the Ace of Diamonds. And let me see, how did David Letterman do that? There we go. Bye-bye.
Yeah, David Letterman, outstanding.
Yeah.
My number 10 is Anderson native. Knight called him the best player he ever coached him, Bobby Wilkerson.
Ooh, nice. There's so much in Anderson. Oh my gosh, the basketball in Anderson is fabulous. And what number? Yeah. What number was that?
9.
9. Now you know some others that could have made the list. Rudy Tomjanovich.
Yes, without a
doubt. Kent Benson.
Yes, without a doubt.
Of course, Charlie Stretch Murphy and John Wooden for Purdue. The old players get the shaft, man. The old players from the 40s and 50s and 30s get the shaft because you don't have a lot of visual out there to show their gaming skills, and they get kind of left in the past. I didn't do that with my top 11, but some people do get left in the past before YouTube and Twitter and TikTok.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and stuff like that.
Sure.
So at my number 9. Oh, sorry. I also have a visual aid. Is Steve Alford?
Great player.
Ace of Hearts.
I was. We've talked about this before. I was there at the Newcastle Anderson game where he bricked 2 free throws for the Anderson win, which was unheard of.
You watched him miss 2 free throws. I watched him hit 25 in a row.
That was payback.
Now, you know what, man? You know what the worst place to play in Anderson is? Highland.
Oh, I know.
Where they put your butt on the other end of the court.
Right.
Not side by side like normal basketball games. So you can't really coach from back there. And of course, you know, they have 2 extra players, you know, the referees that, you know, down the block from Highland.
Are you saying the Scots were cheaters?
You know what? You guys probably cheated too. You Anderson and Indians. You don't know Saints. Saints.
Well, no, I'm never going to defend Norm Held, so I'll plead the fifth on that.
Okay, all right, okay. Don't you get me kind of riled up today because I came with 20 and you came with 11.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
Normally, you come to the Billy and Joe Top 10 show with 50.
Something like that. I forgot.
But you came with 10 today. So a couple of other players. So who'd you have there?
I had Bobby Wilkerson at 9.
Bobby Wilkerson at 9, and I had Steve Alford at 9.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what's your number 8?
Jalen Rose.
I wonder how much he made while he played college ball at Michigan.
A lot. All those GM people.
You know, I like Jalen Rose. He was a Pacer.
Yes, correct.
So, you know, we've had that. Him. Yeah. So, some other people that are within, not in my top 10. I don't have Glenn Rice in my top 10.
Okay.
I don't have somebody else who would have made my top 20 would have been Don Schlunt and both Joe Barry Carroll from Purdue. So I got an IU and Purdue person there.
Yeah.
John Havlicek.
They were talking about Deron Thomas from Illinois, and I can't think.
Yeah. Jimmy Jackson.
From Illinois. He was Ohio State.
Ohio State. You're right. I'm just saying, though, these are people that did not make my top 10.
Yeah. Yep.
Kevin McHale.
Right, from Minnesota. Right.
Yes, not in my top 10. Magic, of course, came in at number 11. 10, Isaiah Thomas. 9, Steve Alford. And you said your number 8 was?
Jalen Rose.
My number 8. Oh, I have a visual aid. Let's see. Well, I thought I had a visual aid. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. The Eight of Diamonds. Ted Kitchell.
He's
Uh,
8.
a hoss.
He's 8.
A hoss. He was two-time All-American, had a smooth shooting touch, and hit record 18 of 18 free throws in a 1981 game versus Illinois to set a Big Ten record. And if it wasn't for back problems, Indiana would probably won another NCAA championship. Had a halfway decent career with back problems in the NBA for a couple of years. He's a workhorse. If you watch any of his game footage and stuff like that on TV, sorry, Ted Kitchell.
Okay, fair enough.
And the thing of it is, too, he's on a lot of people's lists. I'm not sitting here being a homer.
Oh, he was on
Indiana.
the list. He was on the online list that I saw, but he wasn't that high. But yeah, he's on the list. Number 7 is great college player, great pro player, not so great a coach, Isaiah Thomas.
And we could go on and on about issues and situations with Isaiah.
Right, sure.
But thank you, Isaiah, for playing at Indiana the 2 years you did for the national championship. So, and he loves and can does anything he can for Coach Knight when he can. So, I'm happy with your pick.
Do you know the story about him and Landon Turner?
Yeah.
Okay.
But go ahead and share it if you'd like.
Sure. Landon Turner wasn't really serious about playing basketball. He was really serious about partying. And Isaiah and Ray Tolbert pulled him over and said, you need to get your act together because you're messing up. So bang, after that, he was in the mix for Big Ten All-Star. After he decided to get serious about it. So yeah, Isaiah and Ray Tolbert finally set him straight.
There's a lot of ball players who, if they would have concentrated on the game of basketball and not chasing women or drinking or partying, we'd be talking about them now if they wouldn't have been doing that, and someone could have pulled them aside or set them straight.
Oh yeah,
I got a whole list that comes to my mind, and it's sad, and now they're what ifs. What if I'd have done that? What if I should have or could have, would have? There's a whole list of that, but that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah. And I love Landon Turner. I mean, and then with what Red Auerbach did with him, drafting him after his injury, that was huge.
And Coach Knight setting up the trust fund. Yeah, that's fantastic. So, but back to my hand of solitaire. Coming in.
Win?
Who? What?
You gonna win?
Yeah, I have a winning hand here, bro.
Okay.
I have a winning hand here of Indiana and Purdue players. You're lucky I tossed Magic in there from Michigan State.
Your top 6 are IU and Purdue, and that's it?
No, bro, calm down. Calm down.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Ball State wins a bowl, and you're just all full of energy today.
I haven't seen you in a month, Holmes.
Okay, bro. Bra, or say how they say bra. Okay, so I've seen footage of my number 7.
Okay.
I'm friends with number 7.
Okay.
So it's a little biased, but I've seen enough footage to know that this man was a beast.
Mm-hmm.
A beast. And he was the Chicago Bulls, the first draft pick of the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
1966, I think, coming in at number 8 from Purdue University. The Chicago Bulls select Dave Shellhouse. If you don't know who Dave Shellhouse is, check out some YouTube video of him playing ball. Just a fantastic, great ball player. And he was a pure scorer, man. He averaged over 28 points per game during his career, which is currently still number 2 for Purdue.
Wow.
So great coach. We talked about Rudy Tomjanovich was in my top 20, didn't make my top 10. Ran into some addiction problems. I've had addiction problems. I've conquered my addiction problems. Rudy T has conquered his addiction problems, and so has Dave Shellhouse has conquered his addiction problems. So woulda, coulda, shoulda also with that, but what a great college basketball player, and I would have him on my team, starting five in a Big Ten game anytime.
Nice. My number 6 is Glenn Rice.
Didn't like him.
Fair enough.
Thought he was a selfish ball player.
Okay, fair enough.
Just my opinion, but brought a championship to Michigan, and that whole thing where the head coach quit and went to Arizona State, and Fisher took
Right.
over. Man, I'd still hate to be the coach that quit and Fisher takes him to the national championship. That's just crazy.
Right.
Someone else that did not make my top 10 and could easily slide in the top 10, and he's probably in your top 10, is the big dog, Glenn Robinson.
Oh yes.
So I apologize, big dog, for not putting you in my top 10, but I would have mentioned you if Joe would have done 20. So now you had at number 7, who'd you have?
Number 6 was Glenn Rice.
6 was Glenn Rice. Number 6, outstanding ball player, Russell.
Yes.
Cassie Russell.
ABA phenom.
Beast. Just a outstanding ball player that no one could handle. So I got Cassie. I got Cassie in there at number 6.
Right. My number 5. I don't remember what his nickname was, but 10 titles in a row. 10 titles in a row from Purdue, John Wooden. Yeah. The king of spades.
Dude, you're getting that wrong again, dude. It's clubs.
I don't know. You need a better cameraman. I don't know.
Oh, all right. Hold on. You're fired.
Need a better producer. Zoom in a little closer.
Wait a minute. You're fired. You got anybody else want me to let go? No. Great guy. John Wooden was a great basketball player. Down here on the bottom here it says, Purdue legend led the Boilers to a national title in 1932, which a lot of people will argue was not a national title. But just Purdue haters. And first player to be named, consensus All-American 3 years in a row. 3-time consensus All-American.
What was his first coaching job?
South Bend Central, and then Indiana State.
Yes. I didn't know about South Bend Central.
South Bend Central, and my athletic director of high school, Gene Ring, played high school basketball for him.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot I know about John Wooden, but a lot of people have their hate on John Wooden and UCLA, say they cheated. So,
I've heard that theory.
Yeah. And so that was number 5?
Yes.
Number 5 for me? Well, I've got a card for that. I've got a visual aid for that. Albert Chaney. Number 5.
Yeah, he's in there. That's for sure.
Terrific scorer, was a 3-time All-American, leading scorer in IU history with 2,613 points.
Right.
A lot of the Hoosier faithful put more faith and more love into Steve Alford because he brought him a national championship, even though Calbert Chaney did everything except do that national championship.
And here I thought Keith Smart brought him a national championship.
Well, yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Team.
It was just Keith Smart that had the opportunity to take that shot. It's a team.
Correct.
So, exactly. I think Keith Smart would tell you the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. He's a great guy. They're both great guys. So I didn't see him anywhere on the list here, and I want to make sure I'm correct enough. If I'm incorrect, call me out. Havlicek was a Buckeye, right?
Yes.
John Havlicek. It was on nobody's list. I'm like, yo, John Havlicek, where you at?
I had Hondo at number 13, which was his nickname.
And Bobby Knight played with him on that Ohio State team.
Yeah, and my number one player of all time in the Big Ten also played on that same team.
Okay.
We'll get to that though.
Yes.
Man, let's go outside of the state of Indiana to Illinois.
What?
Yes.
You go outside of Indiana?
Outside the state of Indiana. Gary Brads.
You got me there.
Ohio State. One of those guys that behind this you didn't see enough footage of to be able to go, man, Gary Brads is on my team. Gary Brads is the man. Gary Brads is top 10. Gary Brads is all Big Ten. You had to watch some of the old footage. A lot of those older players get lost in the shuffle before, video was as big as it has got.
Sure. My number 3 is my personal.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Havlicek was number 4. My number 3 is my personal favorite from Indiana University, Big Mac George McGinnis.
Yeah,
bent the rim.
If he'd have done 4 years, man.
Yeah.
What a beast. And could have played professional football too and done it in football.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately paying the price a little bit now of how much, is taking a toll on his knees and his body.
Yeah.
And I apologize previously. Gary Brads is Ohio State. I have such a hard time getting that Ohio out of my mouth. Gary Brads played at Ohio State University.
The Ohio State.
Where did that crap start?
Because of Ohio University.
The Anderson High School.
Right. Because
no.
This
Don't
right.
The Anderson High School.
The original Anderson High School.
Original.
Right.
Man, you ain't an OG.
I'm original gangster, babe, all day.
So I apologize to anybody. Gary Brads played at Ohio State University. So who'd you have at 3?
George McGinnis, Big Mac.
Big Mac. I have Andy Phillip. Played for Illinois in the 40s. Lost in the shuffle.
Okay.
Lost in the shuffle. Everything I read and everything I read upon him, just an outstanding ball player, but lost in the shuffle. Lost in the non-video age. Lost in the age where the people heard him play basketball on the radio. Lost in the age where it was in the 40s and they may have used half-shelled coconuts making noise that he was running up the floor. Lost in the age where they may have on the radio went and Andy Phillip scores again.
Theater of the mind.
Coming up next, the Lone Ranger. Played on the radio. Tonto played by a white Irishman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
True story.
Didn't know that.
Who was that masked man? It's not Johnny Depp.
No.
Okay, so I have Andy Phillip from Illinois from the 40s at number 3. Look him up. You'll agree with me.
Number 2, the big dog went to Milwaukee. Glenn Robinson. So he's from Purdue, went to Milwaukee. So.
Yeah. Before I got started in all this stuff, I wasn't a true basketball fan. I was born, I was raised to despise Purdue, Persucks, all of that.
Right.
Once I got into this, I get a true appreciation for every university and every high school that plays basketball in the state of Indiana.
Right.
There's not, when I'm watching Purdue on TV, I root for them to win.
Sure.
When I'm watching them, Indiana and Purdue now play, I probably root a little bit more for IU, but somebody from Indiana wins. The quality of basketball from the state of Indiana is amazing and needs to be researched and continued and loved. And what I do on Indiana Basketball Memories on Facebook, you can despise a school, but you got to give credit to good ball players.
Of course, that's what I do in football too.
And the big dog from Gary Roosevelt, same place the Jackson 5 went.
Yep.
I don't think Michael went out for the basketball team.
Jermaine and Jackie might have.
I'm going to go with a no with that. Maybe Tito.
Yeah,
Tito's vodka.
I know.
Is that a vodka?
He was a baseball coach.
Yeah, he was Tito played football at Gary Roosevelt.
Oh, I didn't know it.
Yeah. So that was your number 3. All right,
Two.
number 2. Can you believe I have a visual aid?
Of course you do.
I actually have 2 visual aids. Number 2, the Rocket, not Broderable. The Rocket, Lebanon Tiger, Purdue Boilermaker,
Yeah,
Rick Mount.
he almost made the cut for me, but I had to put Alfred in somewhere.
No, and let me show you something else.
Sure.
You know what I'm so excited and happy about right now?
You lost a bunch of weight. You get
that,
to
and I
buy new
wore
clothes
pants.
for the new year.
And I wore pants
what's that?
today. I wore pants today. Just think right now if I wouldn't have wore pants. Damn, that would have been embarrassing. Even Bobby's back behind me going, ooh.
Yeah, total Mooney clips.
So this is my visual aid, the Rick Mount Shooting School.
You had that on social media.
I did, man. On the sculpted body
Nice.
I have now after having almost an 11 A1C.
What?
I laid down some beats also during that too.
I'll bet. You're an OG. Okay.
Okay. Oh. Okay. So just if the game was on the line, I'd have him shoot it.
Sure.
So I mean, he would be, if we're out on the playground and we're picking people. I mean, if Rick's available, I'm going with him first.
Okay.
So
he's your first pick on the playground? He's your
Yeah,
first
man.
pick on the playground.
Yeah.
Oh heck no. Oh heck no.
Okay.
No. He'd be a nice pick on the playground, but not my first one. No way.
All right, bro. It all depends on who's on the playground.
Precisely. Big Mac is my first pick on the playground all day, every day.
Big Mac ain't on the playground, dude. It's 8 of me, Rick Mount, and you.
I think
But once again, there's me, you, 8 other people, and then Rick Mount. There's it. No.
Oh, so you're doing
no,
Rick.
no, no, no,
Okay,
no. There's 4 of me, 4 of you, and Rick Mount. Come on now.
Well, gee, I wonder.
Right. I'll take Joe Carney for the win.
Not so much. I can't do full court anymore.
Oh, someone told me that, and I was like, oh, man, I can't even do half court. I can't even do night court, and it's only a half hour long. Boom. All right, man. What's your number 1?
Your favorite, Earvin Magic Johnson, changed the game.
If only Larry Bird would have stayed at Indiana University.
The biggest college basketball game audience on television ever.
Yeah.
For that game, 79.
That's a nice story about them too. Also, that's a great story about them.
Oh yeah.
You see Joe? Hey guys, look at Joe. See him a little antsy. Look, football game's getting ready to start. He's not in front of the TV watching it yet.
I don't have ESPN. I won't be watching it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we can go out to the ballpark and pick Rick Mount first.
Yeah, with 2 of us on the court, of course.
Okay, man. So my number 1.
Yes.
Have you done your number 1? What was your number 1 again?
Earvin Magic Johnson.
Earvin Magic Johnson. I have Jerry Lucas from that Ohio State team.
That was the exact same one on the internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just a beast. It had a great pro career too, but Jerry Lucas. That is my top 10 or 11, or I think I got 20 in there by the time that we mentioned names. Big Ten men's basketball players.
So my A1C at the worst was 14.
Holy mackerel, dude.
Yeah, ain't no joke.
Wow.
That's why I said what I said. and I lost 60 pounds on my run.
Wow.
Yeah, so ain't no joke.
You got a coach in there within your Big Ten?
My favorite Big Ten coach?
Yeah. Do you have you have your top 10. So you have a full team of basketball players. Who do you toss in there to coach them?
I'm drawing a blank on his last name. The current coach of Michigan State, Tom Izzo.
Are you pooping me?
No, I'm not crapping you at all.
Man, this is the first one that I'm going to show you, which is I have a visual aid for that. Coach Gene Caden.
Caden. Yeah, he's great. He was great.
John Wooden.
Oh, I love Wooden too.
God.
I say thee nay. I say thee nay. That's sacrilege right there, pal. Coaching God, maybe.
I'm giving you a hard time.
Yeah,
the other day I got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out here, and let me find the website because I thought it was pretty neat. And let me see if. Oh man, I want to say it's JacquesClothingOnline.com.
Mm-hmm.
Dick and Tom Van Arsdale, the twins who won the Indiana Mr. Brisk basketball in I think 60 or 61, and also went and played at Indiana University. Well, drop my visual aid. You're fired. Get out.
That's 3 producers in a row, bro.
Man, microphone's going next. I think it's JacquesClothingOnline.com. They've got some pretty neat shirts on there. I will put it in the tagline of the thing, but there's Tom.
Yeah.
There's Dick. And one of them is a really, really good artist. One has had a stroke. I should have had all my information prepared to tell you that, but go to JacquesClothingOnline.com and they have some great shirts on there, basketball related. And that's but I'll put the website in the bottom. So the Billy and Joe Top 10 show, we just brought you the top 10, or how Joe likes to do it, toss an extra one in. Men's Big Ten basketball players.
I have a question.
No. Go right ahead. Oh, whoa, Chris Webber. You're out of timeouts, but I'll go ahead and let you have this.
That's a technical.
That's a technical foul.
I have a request.
Oh, next up on Casey Kasem.
Can you since I'm sending you the hat, will you send me a set of the cards?
Which one do you want, bro?
Your basketball cards.
So there's Indiana. There's Purdue.
Oh.
So there's sets. So would you like a Purdue set or would you like a Indiana set?
Indiana's fine.
Okay.
Because the only person from Anderson that went to Purdue was Troy Lewis.
Yes, but he's in that stack, bro.
Well, I'm not going to do a whole card set for one player. So I have more Anderson people represented than IU. Pick a card.
Any card. We're going to do card tricks. Ta-da.
Yep.
Once again, everybody, go to the Billy and Joe Top 10 show on Facebook. Subscribe, like, follow, whatever the hell they're calling it nowadays. Also go to YouTube. Go to the Keeping Nostalgia Alive show. You'll see a lot of good stuff on there. We bowled around a little bit at the beginning. We haven't been together for our seen or talked to each other in quite a long time since I had a little bit of illness. But appreciate you guys' patience. Appreciate you guys watching. Also go to Indy's Local Flavor on iTunes. Joe Carney has a great podcast, new and fresh stuff. Not the old stuff that you can hear a little bit of everywhere. Also go to Keeping Nostalgia Alive. Someone told me I said this too fast. Keeping the Nostalgia Alive, all one word. Podbean.com. PODBEAN.com. And you can listen to all my shows. I'm getting Joe over there. Joe's like, dude, college football is on. So with
I'm
that
not
being
going to
said,
watch it.
well, you're not going to watch it.
I'm going to watch the Beastie Boys documentary. I'm not going to watch
Oh, it's not camouflage, was it? What's
it. Sabotage.
sabotage? Not camouflage. Not something that somebody wears and you can't see them because they're in Walmart shopping.
Correct.
Okay, so with that being said, Joe, you have any final words?
Hey, man, glad to have you back. I'm so glad you're feeling better and you're healthier. And you know what? Let's get it done in 2021.
Yes, sir. And Joe Carney, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you next week on the Billy and Joe Top 10 show. So long, everybody.
Love you. See you soon.